budget.com. Eastport Marina on the beautiful shores of Dale Hollow Lake, for all your lodging, kayaking, and fishing needs. Go to eastport.info.
Now let's get this show started.
Hey guys, it's Takeover Tuesday. Welcome to the Rusty Hook Podcast. Let's do this.
Welcome to a special edition of the Rusty Hook Podcast, streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. 1 hour of straight talk regarding tournament news, angler profiles, gear reviews, and more. Now let's get our show started by joining with John Rapp, our host.
All right. Hey, do me a favor. Go like the Rusty Hook podcast page over at Rusty Hook Podcast here on Facebook. Make sure I'm sure you've already liked the Paddle and Fin podcast page, but if you haven't, smack that like button as well. I'd like to thank you for joining me tonight. Just got back from being up at Lake Erie for 5 days, actually 4 days. I came home a day early. Old man got a little wore out. So, hey, also share and subscribe so we know that when you're with us, and comment so we can interact with you. So, let's talk about the show here today. And it's all about friendships. It's about camaraderie. It's about scheduling and making trips and going places with good friends. And this year was year 2 for our annual trip up to Lake Erie. We went up to Presque Isle. It's a beautiful park up off Lake Erie. I'm sure if anybody is familiar with it, they've been there. They've cruised that area. It's beautiful. So Randy and Buddy Vance from Logan with some of their friends. Jonathan Clark and his girlfriend made the trip up. They stayed somewhere closer to Presque Isle. We've been staying at a little Airbnb right across the Pennsylvania border into New York, and it's a beautiful place. Really convenient because we drive home straight from fishing all day. It's about a 30-minute drive because of where it's at. But once you're there, park the vehicle, walk across the street to a nice little restaurant / bar, eat, drink, relax, and talk about our day, and do it again. So, but Presque Isle, man, what a beautiful, beautiful location, and catching fish there was off the hook. So, let me introduce you to the folks that went up, and let's see if I can get to the right pages. So that's Buddy Vance. I was hoping Buddy's is basically the premier cold water lake springtime fisherman in West Virginia. As a matter of fact, for this year, any tournament in West Virginia that he's entered, he has won it. And then he drove down to South Carolina for a Hobie event last month and finished 6th. The man can just straight out fish. See, I got his Facebook page pulled up. He probably caught so many fish, he's still trying to upload them from getting home last night. So they stayed and fished. They didn't leave till yesterday. This is his lovely wife, Brandy. You'll see here shortly, I got some video of her catching her personal best. I highly recommend, if you follow people, is go follow their pages, because you're going to see some really good write-ups that they do. And I'm going to talk about some of the things that Buddy has taught all of us when it comes to fishing, bed fishing, fishing shallow, for these smallmouth that we chased. This is Tony Bolin. I've known Tony for a long time. Um, I shoot, years ago. Before I met him, you guys probably watched him on TV with the Marshall Thunder and Herd. He was a big defensive tackle, defensive end, part of those glory years of Marshall with Randy Moss and Chad Pennington and all those fine folks back in the late '80s, early '90s. There's Greg Kupfner. He went. He runs the Mountain West Virginia Kayak Anglers. Great guy. Hell of a fisherman himself. He's had a good year and would have probably beat Buddy at one event. I don't know if Buddy was there, but he caught two 21-inch fish and two 18-inch fish. And then when they got to looking at the 18-inch fish, it's the same fish he caught twice, 5 hours apart. So, and he did after he caught those fish, he left the lake. He had those 5 big fish. He had 90-some inches, 94, 95 inches in West Virginia. He's like, well, I've won this. He left, but when they DQ'd that fish, he didn't have another fish to throw up. All he needed was a 10-inch fish, and he would have won. There's our buddy Phil Hall. And you can see Greg, he did post each day. There's some of his fish from Erie. Now, I read after I left that he had caught several 20-inch fish. And also, you can see he shared. I did a live video out on the water on the Rusty Hook podcast page for 30 minutes, and I got Buddy Vance and Tony Bolin, I think it was Tony, catching fish. But Greg and I were part of the crew the very first day to get there. Phil's posted some photos of himself, too. There's a fish release. And then Jonathan Carp made it. And right there, he caught his personal best. Back to Jonathan here. He caught his personal best, a 5-pound, 13-ounce, 20, little over 20 inches, I believe, fish. Look at the girth on that thing. You can see why it was so heavy. There's a photograph on the board. It says little 22.5. That's a heck of a big fish. So those were the group of guys that I went up with. And we fished Thompson Bay. Thompson's Bay is the area that we were at the whole time. And we had a great time. So Greg and I drove up Wednesday night so we could fish Thursday. And the weather forecast for us was for Thursday, we were going to be facing 20 to 25 mile-an-hour winds. High temperature was going to be in the mid-50s. So it was a little bit of a chilly day. There was a front. And I got a video I'm going to cue up here, and I'm going to show you the conditions that we fished. But the fish bite was on. We both had a really good day. So let's pull up that video and let you see the conditions that we fished in there.
I mean, you come.
So Greg had already put in just ahead of me. Crazy to look out there and see that there were nobody. Nobody fishing out there. But you can't see the waves breaking over the wall. We're actually hidden here by like a breaker that's keeping the water from being really rough. So yeah, that was about all the editing that I could get done. Was from day one on Thursday. It was a great day. Each day, other than my see, Thursday, my Saturday was off. Uh, the TRD yoga pants that I was throwing that was so effective on Friday, I caught around 30 fish and at least 20 smallmouth, 25 smallmouth. Um, and I wasn't really bed fishing. I was fishing the weed line, and the fish were moving in. Buddy and them, he was cruising, and I'm going to show you something that he was able to show me and teach me a little bit about the type of sonar that he was using. But he was cruising the banks and catching some really good fish that had already moved in, out in the 3 to 4 foot range, just past the grass line, and bedding. And he caught some nice fish. So you guys that use the high-end sonar equipment, man, I tell you, I can see why people use Mega Live, Live 360, Active Target, and things like that. But I really didn't know much about the Live 360 until Buddy got to showing me some of the stuff that he works with. So let me see if I can pull this up here. He's got this. This is a map that he sent me, and this is from the Humminbird Live 360 that he's got on his kayak. Now he was only in 3 to 4 feet of water, and in the message he sent me, guys, you can see that full bed right there where my mouse is. That is a bed. He caught over a 20-inch fish out of that bed right there. And then the bed to the right, which is probably only 6 to 8 feet away. If he's in 3 feet of water, I think each one of these lines represents 3 feet. So that bed right there was about 7 or 8 feet away from his boat. And this one here is 7, 8 feet away from his boat. And you can see how close these beds are. And these lines right here around these little dark lines, those are fish. So there's shadows. So you can see right up here above that bed. Either that's another bed, or these are a couple fish that are swimming around just off outside of the bed range. But he caught a 25 there, and over here to the right, he caught a 19.5. So that's pretty impressive. And guys, one of the great things about fishing with Buddy Vance is watching, as you can see down here at the bottom, it's just out of view. And all over here to the left is where we put in. He comes out here and he just starts cruising. Right about through here is the weed line. And then you get out here, there's a area out here of low water, and then on out in here is some low water. But you can see where Buddy was working those areas of 3 feet and less, 4 feet and less of water. And if there's big circles or dead zones, he was on some fish. He caught a bunch of fish. So Buddy, learned a lot from Buddy. I always learn when I go fishing with him. And what's crazy is watching Brandy, his wife, and Tony Boland, his buddy. They do a lot of fishing and traveling together. And going from last year fishing to this year on the water, how much we all improved after having the experience from last year and knowing how it works. Anyway, I'm going to queue up. I don't think I've showed you the double tap where Buddy and Tony caught a fish at the same time. Standing in his seat, crazy. Oh, Tony got a big one too. Oh yeah, here we go. Man, I just shut my live video off. Daggone it, both you guys got fish at the same time. So both those all the videos I'm pretty much showing you are from day before yesterday, because what I tried to do, I went around and tried to follow everybody around or be around people so I could get video of them catching fish while I was fishing. I actually caught several nice fish that day too. We'll take a quick break and then we'll go eat. Yak Gadget, American-made kayak fishing accessories and gear. Ace Adventure Resort, West Virginia's #1 outdoor destination. Whitewater, ziplining, water park. All right, guys, welcome back to the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. It's Takeover Tuesday here at the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. Again, if you're watching the show, and I see several of you are, hit that like button, comment, and talk to me about bed fishing. Talk to me about your style, what you use to be successful. So, I'm going to tell you, there were several different techniques used, but the most successful technique that I saw was with Buddy and Tony and Brandy. Greg was doing it there, I think, the last day a little bit. I know Phil was too. I didn't, because I didn't have any of the things, a nudge or a bite. I know they had several that they kept trimming down because they could watch the fish pick it up by the tail and not get a hook in them, or they could set a hook in them when they tried and blow it off the beds. But that they were using that. Now Greg and I, the first 2 days I was using the Yoga Pants TRD. The third day I was using that, I caught over 25 red eye. And I was like, I got to do something to change. I only caught 4 smallmouth on Saturday. I got frustrated because of all the red eye hits. Ended up going back into the marsh and exploring that area and found a couple areas. I actually caught 7 or 8 largemouth. I think it was 8 largemouth. Got 6 of them on video that I'm going to edit, throw up later. So it found some really shallow water. I was really surprised how shallow some of these bigger largemouth were. They were probably in a foot of water, right back in the edges of the grass. But there is a lot of grass back here, so they had plenty of cover where they could do their thing and ambush other fish. But let me show you the video I have with Brandy. We watched her work a bed for probably 20 minutes, and then she finally laid into this fish and caught it, and it ended up being her personal best. I don't know if it's her personal best period or personal best of the week.
Oh my God! Take my back.
I got video.
Give me a second,
okay? She was able to catch that fish right there next to her husband. Looks like my feed got a little delayed there, so I'll probably post that individual video on Brandy's page for everybody to watch at a later time. But let's see. Well, we got some. Looks like we're lagging. I hate that. It's one of the things about being out in the country. Leaves are out, so I had to move my Starlink to try to get a better signal. I'm gonna pull up Greg Kupner's fish. I was with him when he caught a fish, and we were together. He caught one, then I caught one. So here's Greg's fish.
Don't want to come to the boat, does it? Oh yeah. Yeah, all right.
Still an 18-inch pool.
Heck yeah. How big is she?
17.
17? All right. Good job, buddy.
So yeah, my boy Greg, I tell you, he had a great week there at Erie, and I think it was a much better time for him and Phil and Tony, for all of us, really, except for Buddy. I mean, Buddy had a great time last year. He knew what he had to do to bedfish. Of course, he came in with upgraded equipment this year, so he probably had a better time there, especially being able to use that live scope that he has or actually it's not a live scope, it's a Mega 360, I think, made from Humminbird. That's just amazing to me, like working it, and minute and a half later he had it caught. So impressive angler, his buddy Vance. I mean, make sure you guys go check him out on Facebook. You will see him posting photos. There's no doubt he's probably writing a report about it, or not a report, but a post on it with all the fish that he caught. I was teasing him. I'm like, dude, you need to buy a GoPro or something, a 360 view you can keep up on the front of your boat. And you can watch yourself, and you can watch the fish, and get it all, get everything on camera. And he's talking about doing that, which is really cool. Got another video here. I think I've showed you.
It helps having that pink lure on there. Tell you what,
There we go. Yeah, baby. All right.
well, the moment of truth.
19 and a quarter. 19 and a half. All right, let's just say it. 20. It's going to be close. The old fatty.
All right, we're back. So, let's talk about this here. I want to get y'all's thoughts. So that's a Humminbird, Mega Live 360. That's pretty impressive. I really had no real knowledge of how that worked. You hear everybody talking about live scope. And I guess if you had a live scope with the view right there that you would have, is that you could follow the fish around in the bed, make sure there's a fish in the bed, and watch it. Where with this view, you're able to locate the bed, and you still see shadows and stuff where it continuously feeds you pictures and everything. So I would think that maybe it would be a pretty cool feature to have. And then, I've got the NK180, and I mean, I cannot use my system to do the kind of maneuvering, spot locking, and stopping. You can look at all these locations where he's done circles, he's found fish, he's stopped, he's found beds. In fact, he did a majority of his damage right in the middle of the bay. So that's just impressive stuff to be able to use that type of technology the way Buddy did. And I got to look at it. Now, I did hear him talk about where he's going to have to get a second unit, because when he's using the 360 mode, he can't use the other mode where he can see water temperatures, depths, things like that. So you always wonder why you see guys that have got all the different units on the big bass boats. I was coming home from Erie, and I passed a guy from West Virginia, had a bass boat, and he had 5 Lowrance 12-inch screens on his kayak. His Hummingbird's got the Mega 360. So all of them have their packages, and that's something I think I'm going to look at next week, research, may try to get people to come and talk about that, do a show there on the differences, the strengths and weaknesses. If anybody knows any information on those type of units, I would love to hear about it, the pros and cons. It might be something that I look at. I've been considering buying an NK300 to put on my Big Fish 103. But after what Buddy Vance was doing with that, I don't know if it's the Motor Guide XI3 with spot lock. That was the word I was looking for, spot lock. If that's what he was using on his boat or not, but that may be something I'm going to look at to put on that Big Fish 103. That's a big, wide, stable boat, and I believe it might handle the weight of that motor on the front. But Greg caught me catching the fish, and I thought I had my camera facing out like I showed you on the other videos. So, but here, I still had the camera focused on me when I shoved it down into the regular mode like this instead of facing up when I was showing fish. But so here it is. It's showing me as I catch a fish.
Spit it out. Came in and just got it. I don't know why people bring dogs like that to the park. There we go. I think. Oh yeah. Yes. Yeah, pretty good. Take a look here. All right. Got this little guy. Little male. Yeah, probably what?
Now, I'm going to show you another view that Greg got some of this
Right.
action
Go
on
back,
video.
guard your nest.
Sent it to me.
Good one.
Yeah, pretty good. Not bad.
All right.
All right. This little guy.
Appreciate that, Greg, getting that video for me, because obviously, as you've seen, that when I started looking at my footage from when you and I were sitting there, I had my camera facing me and didn't get a good video of that fish hook set in the fight. So thank you, buddy. Anyway, I believe this has been a pretty good show tonight. I know there's been some lag here. I hate that. And I probably will upload a recorded version of this to the Rusty Hook page. I hate that some of the video was cut off because of my Starlink issues. And that's probably the route that I may go in the near future, is just start pre-recording and uploading like the other guys do. I just like the live video. I like seeing comments. Not seeing much action from the crew tonight out there talking. It's not showing up on my screen, so I may have an issue there. But if not, I appreciate everybody that took the time to hang out with me tonight here at the Paddle and Fin Podcast and Media Network. Make sure you check out all the other shows. Go to my friends' pages and follow them. And I really, really, really want to tell you, man, you definitely go check out. There's a lot of the guys were doing this kind of thing. He took a picture of that fish with Greg in the background. I think it's Greg. So you could give him the devil a little bit. So yeah, you gotta love that stuff. But make sure you check out Phil, and then old Johnny Cart. You know, he's got a few posts up there. You might go check out his fish, see what he was doing, talk to him. But anyway, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. Ain't much more we can talk about. Bed fishing. If you have any questions, I'm no expert. Buddy is the expert. If you want to know about bed fishing, you might let him know that you saw this video here at the Rusty Hook Podcast, here at the Paddle Fan page, and you want some advice from him. Send him a message via Facebook. Anyway, appreciate you guys. Another Tuesday night takeover from the Rusty Hook. I think it's time to hit the road. Y'all have a great evening.